CFM Radio.
Radio Drix, we're live.
Greetings and welcome back on this fine Wednesday evening for another edition of CFM Radio video game music and news. Playing a little bit of the Battlefield Heroes theme from Battlefield 1943 for you.
Battlefield Heroes theme. Man, Battlefield Heroes, old school game, Drix. And you know what, Drix? Let's talk old school games because, oh my god, Drix, I finished Silent Bomber on Twitch.
Yeah, wow. That was an interesting deep dive and a couple rageful returns there to the final boss, and that game just kept on giving, man. You even got a little bit of a extra versus mode on the end there. That looked like a lot of fun.
That was actually super funny. I was not expecting at all to get like a PvP versus mode that was like really reminiscent of like a Virtual On style game.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
With like air dashes and like 3D movement, like a bunch of characters from the main game. Hey, John, unstoppable. If you're playing Silent Bomber versus mode, you pick John. Okay, you just pick John. He's like unstoppable. He gets you in the corner with machine guns and missiles. He gets you locked down. It's pretty much GG. It's kind of hilarious. Like,
yeah. I would have fought you at that one.
It was pretty funny, man. I loved it. But you know what? Even though it was really frustrating, and you know what, Drix, you are right. I raged pretty hard. I had about 2 or 3 sessions full of rage. And you know what? Those are all going up on YouTube this week. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll have a Silent Bomber playlist up on YouTube. You could see the triumphant final stream right now over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch. Go follow us over there so you never miss some live gameplay. All of our gameplay is over there. And like I said, that final triumphant stream with me beating the game, Silent Bomber, really cool game. I really enjoyed it, even though it kicked my ass so hard that I nearly tossed my controller across the living room. You know what I mean? It was gnarly. I got real... But you know what? I will say, I did feel silly when I figured everything out at the end of the day, because you know what? You stack 8 bombs, Drix.
Yeah, you were just putting them right there in close proximity. And
you just put them right there.
Letting those pawns on the chessboard come to you. Yeah, once you read the strategies online, it was over.
I was like, man, this is literally the strat? Like, this is literally what I'm supposed to be doing right now? Yeah, and then I did it, and I was like, wow. It was pretty interesting, but you know what, Drix? I finished a game, but you started a game.
Yeah, that's right. We got one of my bucket list RPGs for the Super Nintendo just started this week on Monday. Earthbound, taking control of Ness in his psychic adventures through Eagle Land. And yeah, definitely an inspiration to a lot of other games that followed, other RPGs, other obscure ways to tell stories with like a style that, you know, can be pretty hard to emulate and imitate. Comedy, a lot of fun comedy in the text reading over there, and some fun, you know, gameplay mechanics. Even though it is like turn-based, like I like narrowly avoided death because my counter didn't hit 0 before I squeezed my next heal off.
It made me so sad.
I got slapped around a bit.
It made me so sad that Twitch started at the end. I don't know what happens, but at the end of towards the end of the stream, Twitch just started like eating my chats, and I couldn't chat anymore. But oh my god, dude, there were Earthbound. I had totally forgot how much tension Earthbound lends itself to, because it's like you said, there are so many moments of near death and just getting clobbered. But I will say, I love those mechanics. I love how you can act while your health is rolling down. I love the counter system. There's just so much to the game. Like you said, even though it's a turn-based RPG, it's really easy to get lost in that action.
Yeah, I'm relying on the auto battle quite a bit, and it's it's kind of a rough start, but once you get Ness into like the powerhouse that he becomes, and you have enough psychic points to be a little more loose with your psychic attacks, then man, it gets crazy and fun and wacky, cool visuals. I'll never get tired of the backgrounds in the fights,
dude,
and
so
just
trippy.
the style of sprites.
Why is Earthbound so trippy? Like, it's just the trippiest, like one of the trippiest retro games ever. I like when I hear someone say the phrase retro game, I can't help but think of a game like Earthbound. Pretty much Earthbound is like the only game of its kind, because like it's so trippy, bro. Like,
yeah, one of the weirdest soundtracks, and like your Super Nintendo sound chip trying to emulate strange sounds like crickets and bugs, and our RIP to our pal Buzz,
RIP,
like the fly that he was.
Damn, it's so tragic.
Yeah, he was short-lived, but a great character. We got a lot of expose out of him as far as the story goes, introducing Ness, Ness to everyone.
An iconic Nintendo character thanks to Smash Bros. And you know what, Drix? I gotta say, we're talking a lot of Nintendo, and I gotta be the guy who has to say that I have made my decision, and next Tuesday I'm going to be starting a fresh blind playthrough of Sonic Frontiers on the PS5. And you know what, as a Sonic fan, I've always wanted this style of game, like this open world style game, and I can't wait to sink my teeth into it, because Drix, I haven't touched this game. It's been out for about a year, and you know what, all the DLC's out.
Cool. Sounds like there's no better time to dive into it than today, or Tuesday, I should say.
Indeed. Tuesday will be a day, nice meaty stream day on Tuesday. I think I'll probably go for longer than I normally do. Go back for another 3-4 hour stream. So
yeah, I'm already listening to the hits off of that soundtrack too. There's a lot of good stuff. Oh man,
there's so many good ones. But as much as we love talking all of our gameplay experiences over there on twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch, I think it's time to get into the news, Drix.
Oh yeah, taking it all the way back to Nintendo Town, huh?
Oh yeah, we're going all the way back to Nintendo Town, because we might be talking mascot platformers and fun and interactive RPGs, but Drix, let me know if I sound crazy, but a new video game console is a big announcement, right?
Yeah, usually blockbusters as far as the news and announcements go.
So, over at Nintendo, that obviously isn't the case. As the president of the company himself, Shintaro Furukawa, he announced the console via Twitter last night around 3 a.m.
Wow, yeah, so this is the first we're hearing about a brand new Nintendo console, our initial confirmation, and it's a tweet at 3 a.m.
Oh, on a Tuesday. Sorry, not last night. On a Tuesday around 3 a.m. Just... I'm just going to drop it here. And, the tweet from the official account is also kind of funny, because it reads, quote, "This is Furukawa, president of Nintendo. We will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. We will be holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024, but please be aware that there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation." So, Drix, this is another one of these weird announcements where it's like, hey, we've got an announcement, it's coming up, but this next announcement, it's not going to be about that.
Yeah, we've got a release date for a trailer, or a release date for an announcement, in this case, somewhere vaguely towards the end of the year. But yeah, to me it sounds like they're doing some damage control, like they don't want people trolling the next Nintendo Direct stream saying, when Switch 2, when Switch 2.
Honestly, yeah, I didn't think about things like that. And, you also, these Nintendo fans, man, I love me some Nintendo, but I do not love Nintendo enough to buy enough shares to get in on the investor call to ask about F-Zero. And I think that's the level of people that they're trying to appease.
Yeah. The kids raised on the family computer have grown up and now own investing stakes.
Yeah, they've got
in
cash.
Nintendo. Yeah. They can afford to make it to that phone call nowadays and be like, all right, bring back my favorite franchise. I'm waiting. You
right.
owe me returns.
So about F-Zero, then. It's like, wait, what? It's like, yeah.
No, that's what I want to make this call about.
Literally, God, that was so wild. But, that as weird as that may seem, that's how we know the Nintendo Switch successor exists, Drix. It's coming. The announcement to the announcement, like you said. Like
yes, GTA 6 trailer all over again.
Oh my God. Let's not go back to that. But and you know what? God, as much as I want to jam to this track that's going on in the background right now, we can't, because it would be irresponsible to jump into the groovy music before this titan of a story that we have. You think that the announcement to the Nintendo Switch successor was the big deal for us today? No. Today is all killer, no filler, because this next story, it's all about our good buddies over at Xbox, Drix.
Yes. Papa Phil Spencer, always making those headlines.
We love him. We love... over at CFM Radio over here, we love him, Mr. Xbox, a.k.a. old Phil Spencer, for no other reason than his tendency to make some strong gaming news headlines. This guy, he can never stay out of the press, Drix, ever.
No, certainly not. And we got those headlines here for you.
And while this man is charismatic and talks a big game, his studios tend to have a hard time making games that match those boisterous points and claims. And now it seems like Xbox is the name that's the next one for the industry Grim Reaper, Drix. From IGN, the headline reads, quote, Microsoft closes Redfall developer Arcane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush developer Tango Gameworks, and more in devastating cuts at Bethesda.
Wow. Phil Spector, the Game Reaper, huh?
Yes, Phil Spector is right. Seriously, might as well call this guy Pixel of Death, Jeez.
Yeah. Pretty soon he's going to be the protagonist in an evil game where he destroys games and developers.
Yeah, right. Are you gonna play as Phil Spencer? And as you said, protagonist. Holy shit! Like, but now this article, right? It has a lot, and it goes over tweets from studios affected by these layoffs. There's a lot of thank you for playings over on Twitter. But the most meat on this bone comes from a letter that was received via email to the affected studios by the head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty.
Oh, come on. Give it up, Matt.
Oh,
what's going on?
Boy, Matt does give it up. From the letter obtained by IGN, Matt Booty states the goal of the cuts is to, quote, double down on Bethesda's high-impact titles and franchises. And from the email itself, quote, here are the changes going into effect. Arcane Austin. This studio will close with some members of the team joining other studios to work on projects across Bethesda. Arcane Austin has a history of making impactful and innovative games, and it is a pedigree that everyone should be proud of. Redfall's previous update will be its last as we end all development on the game. The game and its servers will remain online for players to enjoy, and we will provide make-good offers to players who purchase the Hero DLC. Alpha Dog Studios. this studio will also close. We appreciate the team's creativity in bringing Doom to new players. Mighty Doom will sunset on August 7th, and we will be turning off the ability for players to make any purchases in the game. Tango Gameworks. Tango Gameworks will also close. We are thankful for their contributions to Bethesda and players around the world. Hi-Fi Rush will continue to be available to players on the platforms it is today. Roundhouse Games. The team at Roundhouse Games will be joining ZeniMax Online Studios, ZOS. Roundhouse has played a key role in many of our recent game launches and bringing them into ZOS to work on. The Elder Scrolls Online will mean we can do even more to grow the world that millions of players call home. Drix, oh my God.
Yes, that has to be just about the most destructive hiring process anybody has ever seen.
Dear Lord.
They are poaching talent like a band that needs a new lineup.
And then dropping them like a bad habit. All of these studios were literally just acquired by Microsoft within the last 4 years.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm the most sad about, Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
That studio. I mean, that was like an acclaimed game from last year, and I guess we might not see another one of those.
And Tango Gameworks going down doesn't just mean Hi-Fi Rush goes down. It also means that there's no more evil within. Shinji Mikami left the studio earlier in the year. God, now we know why. That was his studio. Arcane Austin. Dude, this is like the Prey guys.
Yeah. These were some successful developers.
Yeah.
To be, eaten by the big mega pop. Wow.
And then put onto they're being put onto other games. It's funny to me too, because earlier in the year we had a story here on CFM Radio where you had part of the Activision Blizzard buyout from Microsoft was developer Toys for Bob. Mind you, Toys for Bob, developer of the Crash Bandicoot remastered trilogy. They developed Crash 4. They did amazing work on a ton of awesome games. They created Skylanders. These guys, they were put on the Call of Duty cosmetics team, and then from how the news was spun, it seemed as though them being able to spin off as an indie studio with the blessing of Microsoft was just oh man, that means that Microsoft is, going to let these guys make their own kinds of games again and stuff like that. It should be pretty cool. I don't know, Drix. It seems like that all these studios were pretty good. And it seems like you're either sink or swim here at Microsoft.
Yeah, we need to funnel you into something more secure that's guaranteed to bring in bigger bucks, like, a hot MMO or a Call of Duty.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online. We need more people working on Elder Scrolls Online, Drix.
Yep, they're hungry for more content.
And I'll be the guy to say it. Everybody, if you haven't purchased Hi-Fi Rush in any way, purchase Hi-Fi Rush. Purchase a license to Hi-Fi Rush. Purchase it right now. Purchase it on, the Microsoft Store. Purchase it on Steam. If it ever goes to GOG, make sure you get it on GOG without DRM. Because, fellas, there's a lot of great usage of licensed music in Hi-Fi Rush, and we all know that Microsoft is not going to pay to renew those rights.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They got names like 9 Inch Nails on there and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Every boss has its own licensed music track.
Yeah, that was a good time. Almost makes me regret turning off my Game Pass subscription.
Hey, you know what? At this point, it's better. You're better off buying it on a PS5, right?
Yeah. I'll see if I can get me a physical copy.
Yeah, I don't know if that exists.
Yeah, no, I wonder if that's not an
I don't-
Xbox exclusive,
Yeah,
is it?
I don't think it is. I don't even think they have a physical one for Xbox. You know, I mean,
Wow.
shit, they're pulling physical Starfields. You know what I mean? So I don't know what's going on with Xbox anymore. They're all in on Game Pass, right? Like,
Yeah, that's what we've been saying.
all in on Game Pass.
For almost the whole year we've been doing CFM Radio.
It's been quite the wild year to start up a little a humble little news outlet. So,
Yes, indeed.
but you know what, Drix? I'm tired of that story. I need to jam to this banging percussions you got going back here. What is this?
This is a song called Faded Memories from Snatcher, an early Kojima game for the Sega CD.
Faded Memories, Snatcher, CFM Radio. We are live.
Gaming News. CFM Radio.
We'll be back.
CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are live.
That was a song called Return to Houston from Vigilante 8 Second Offense.
Hell yeah, dude. I loved Vigilante 8. That was like the other car combat game other than Twisted Metal that was badass.
Yeah, and my, was it funky.
It was
Based in
super
70s
funky.
and stuff.
Super funky. I remember one of the cheapest guys and one of the cheapest bosses in that game had a super that fucking he summoned aliens, and then the UFOs came down and they just bombed on your ass, and you're like, what the hell? How do you shake this? And you just literally couldn't. He just bombed you. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, I used to get mad at being juggled around by a disco ball too that just
Oh
kept
my
your car
God.
in the air.
That was a funky ass game. Pretty good car combat as well, but
Very funky.
very funky. But you know what? We got new releases. And do you know what the best way to make sure studios that you love stay in business, Drix?
Might have something to do with purchasing their fine video games.
That's right. You buy their new releases. And we've got some for you this week. And first up, we have a new one. Is called Animal Well, and this one comes from publisher Big Mode Games, founded by YouTuber Video Game Donkey. You know, pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got that donkey in the trunky.
He definitely does. And from the Steam page, quote, explore a dense, interconnected labyrinth and unravel its many secrets. Collect items to manipulate your environment in surprising and meaningful ways. Encounter beautiful and unsettling creatures as you attempt to survive what lurks in the dark. There is more than what you see. Animal Well hits PC, PS5, and Switch tomorrow, Thursday, May 8th. And Drix, this one looks pretty mysterious, like a mysterious Metroidvania.
Yeah, definitely some 2D side-scrolling and with a really cool in temperature color palette. Lots of blues and greens and darkness as you explore this interconnected labyrinth and its many secrets.
Right, and not to mention some really cool subtle lighting effects too.
Yeah, that's always nice when you're looking at retro-styled pixels.
Right, I love it when they do that HD pixel thing where like you put in like modern day particle effects with the pixels, because it really does make it pop. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah, best of both worlds. That's a lot of hours of Unicorn Overlord talking there too.
Yeah, 100%. You got me there. You got me dead to rights on that one. And next up, we have another retro romp in Crow Country. From the Steam page, quote, the year is 1990. It's been 2 years since the mysterious disappearance of Edward Crow and the abrupt closure of his theme park, Crow Country. But your arrival has broken the silence, Mara Forest. If you want answers, you'll have to venture deep into the darkness of Crow Country to find them. And you know, Drix, this 90s survival horror throwback is looking to nail the look and feel of those old school games. And while the full release is available tomorrow, again, it's available the 9th. I think I said the 8th for Animal Well. No, that comes out the 9th tomorrow's too. My bad, sorry. It comes. This one's also coming out tomorrow, the 9th. But a demo is available now for all the platforms that it's going to be on. That includes Xbox Series consoles, PS5, and PC. So if you think this one looks cool, you could check it out right now for free.
Yeah, definitely looks cool. I really like the use of polygon on the protagonist here. It's like you're looking at Cloud Strife in the original Final Fantasy VII. So they're really nailing the PS1 atmosphere with this one. And looking almost doll-like, but that kind of adds to like the scariness of the horror game.
Yeah, Drix, I think you could go two ways. You could go two ways on this like style of graphics, right? You could either really really like it, and it gleans a lot of nostalgia, and it to me, I think you're right. I think that toy dollish, the purposeful toy / dollish look that the character has, that I think you nailed it when you said PS1 Cloud Strife. That look, I think it really does add to the survival horror vibe that the game is laying down. because Drix, whether you like it or not, the first horror games that ever really made a big splash in the mainstream they were Resident Evil games, and all those games looked like you were controlling Cloud Strife.
Yeah, pretty much. Origami guy made out of paper.
Yeah. So like I think it's cool. I think if you're going to make a game that is trying to evoke that 90s 3D look, because I'll put it out there, I'm not a big fan of the purposefully bad 3D model. I'm not a big fan just to invoke nostalgia. I'm not a huge fan of it personally, but Crow Country right here definitely seems like the type of game that really tries to not just cash in on the nostalgia with its aesthetic, but tries to use the aesthetic in a lot of ways that evoke the horror of the game. Because like, look, even in this trailer, you can see there's like partial pre-rendering and then partial 3D in the backgrounds too. So it looks cool. And even some of these 3D modeled environments in Crow Country, when they're on a still, like when you're just looking at them head on, the camera's not moving, some of them do have a pre-rendered look to them.
Yeah, absolutely complementary to the atmosphere. It's almost like, making a horror movie that looks like it was shot on VHS. It's like, oh, it's just, it's a little older and has a different kind of feel to it.
Part of the charm.
Visual warmth.
Part of the charm, part of what makes that kind of idea great, very evocative of a very influential time for the genre. That's Crow Country. It comes out tomorrow on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC via Steam, May 9th. And, if you're not down to just throw down the cash immediately, play the demo. It's all good. Check it out.
Yes, check it out.
And finally, the final new game that we have to talk about this week is a total 180 from this Crow Country here. It is Little Kitty Big City.
Oh yeah, these are rhymes that the internet likes.
Oh yeah, definitely a Reddit hit in that name. Like,
yeah, exactly.
The Little Kitty Big City, and that is looking pretty cool from the Steam page. Quote, "You're a curious little kitty with a big personality on an adventure to find your way back home. Explore the city, make new friends with stray animals, wear delightful hats, and leave more than a little chaos in your wake. After all, isn't that what cats do best?" This is the last game we got coming at you tomorrow, May 9th. Drix, I told you that we started, 2 weeks ago with new releases? Or last week, I should say. We started last week with Stellar Blade, Sandland, all that crazy stuff. Or no, it was 2 weeks ago. Stellar Blade, Sandland, all that crazy stuff. And we are not stopping. These are smaller name games, Drix, but they still pack that big punch. Look at this game, Little Kitty Big City.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a cat in a hat? Not as dystopian as Stray kind of looks. Bit more of a cozy game than that. Having a good time with your cat. With eyes the size of a cat food ad, how they as a guy who works in Photoshop, they like to make those eyes huge because that's part of the cute effect.
Yes.
And this is an animated good time waiting to happen here.
Absolutely. Little Kitty Big City looks like you're playing one of those DreamWorks movies, you know what I mean? Like
yes, that's exactly what it is. A bit of that Untitled Goose Game flavor too, just being a little naughty, not causing a little cat mischief.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that, but you're totally right. It does have that Goose Game vibe as well. That kind of would you call that like a cozy game, Drix, where like it is lackadaisical, right? But you're still causing trouble.
Yeah.
Like,
nothing too stressful. You don't have like a team of 5 competitors counting on you / playing against,
but you're still like,
kind of want to laugh and have a good time.
yeah, I like you're still, but you might not be doing anything intense, but like again, just looking at this trailer, it looks like looks like this kitty gets in some he fucks shit up, he's stealing people's iPhones and shit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows what a message from a cat sitting on a keyboard looks like, and that'll definitely resonate with a lot of people.
Absolutely. And you know what? To your credit as well, Drix, these days it seems like we have not an abundance of cat games, but a good variety. You got Little Kitty Big City. This is like your cartoony game. You got Stray. That is your more dystopian game. And like, I don't know, man. They're just like you could play what is that? Fight of Animals for your meme cat game. Like,
or like them's fighting herds.
Them's fighting herds. They're just as far as the cat games go, though. It seems like there's a good variety for everybody. This just adds to it. Little Kitty Big City coming out for Game Pass too tomorrow, May 9th. So don't miss it.
Yes, Cat Game Review Board approved.
Absolutely. And you know what, Drix? I can't help but to chill out with this awesome piano groove you've got going on. What is this?
We're coming out of that track. It's called Street from a game called Backstreet Billiards, but we're going to keep with the funky vibes up in here and play you some Ready to Rumble.
Ooh, Ready to Rumble. Here we go.
CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we'll be back.
Clusterfuck Media. CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are back.
We are back, and that was a song from the first Yakuza game on the PS2 called Receive You, also known as Ryuga Gotoku. Gotoku.
It's kind of crazy to think that the Yakuza series has been going on, 20 years?
Yeah, and I don't think there's a miss among them.
Nah, they're all pretty good. Okay, so a couple of them, like what? What do I? Give me 1 second. I'll think of one. Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4. Nah, Yakuza 4. Yakuza 4 kind of drags in the middle, but damn, that game start and ending are fucking awesome. Like, but I think a couple of those PS2 era, well, the late PS2 era ones kind of drag just a little bit. But that's like, late PS2 era ones. But I don't think there's one.
Which was the style at the time.
Yeah, seriously. But I don't think there's a one on the PS3 that misses. And the ones on the PS4 that I played, the remakes that they made on the PS4, oh my god, they're so good. Like Yakuza 0 and shit.
To your library. I'm still working my way through Yakuza 0 for sure, and that game is amazing.
That game's fucking awesome. I love Yakuza 0. But you know what else is well, I shouldn't say awesome, but is a little questionable. Video game subscriptions.
Yeah. All in on Game Pass is what Microsoft has been
all
saying.
in on Game Pass.
But is it actually worth it? Is it, putting up the big points that old Phil Spencer wants to see on his board at the end of the day?
And you know what, Drix? Finally tonight, we're going to talk gaming subscriptions because, they're expensive, Drix.
Oh, yeah. No, I can't have all my consoles online at once.
Fuck. I mean, I don't fucking blame you. Like, to be fair, I think people overreacted just a little bit to the PlayStation because, the yearly went up a lot, but the 3-month is still the same, and that's still a pretty good deal. Like,
yeah, you get free games with that one too.
Yeah,
for as long as you keep paying for that little subscription.
Yeah, it's not too terrible, and you flip that on and off when you want to. I'm not a big fan of paying the $80 a year, but that's why I downgraded. But
yeah,
exactly. That's not all we pay for, Drix. Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, MMOs, battle passes, little microtransactions that you pay for here and there, maybe on your mobile game, maybe on your game that you play on your console.
Yeah.
That you already paid for. Like
maybe some cool cosmetics in Dota 2 or League of Legends or Helldivers.
Or fucking Street Fighter.
Skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some cool skins in Street Fighter.
And it's all tiresome, right, Drix? I think so. I think it's a little tiresome. And
we're tired, all right.
Well, according to leading human behavior analysis outfit Circana, gamers are indeed tightening their wallets in terms of their subscriptions and spending less on them. And this report gives way to a bold claim from PlayStation Lifestyle. And the headline is, quote, Sony was right about Xbox Game Pass being unsustainable, it seems.
Yeah, it would definitely seem that way. I mean, a lot of developers, they won't see as many dimes as they would like putting their games out on Game Pass day one or otherwise.
And from the article, quote, former PlayStation executive Jim Ryan was often lambasted for his views on PS Plus and Xbox Game Pass models, but data suggests that Sony may have been right all along. The company, the company has maintained its position that the Game Pass model, which sees Microsoft launching first-party games on the service day one, doesn't make financial sense. And, that quote is a bold one because the author cites Matt Piscatella of Circana, who posted over on X last year, quote, growth of the video game subscription spending has stalled. According to Circana's Games Market Dynamics reporting, April 23 sub-spending in the U.S. was only 2% higher than April 22. Finding new subscribers beyond console ownership base has proven very difficult thus far. And the reports are today currently, that it still has stalled. As he replies a year later that non-mobile gaming in March, quote, was only up 1% versus the April 2023 figures that got me to post the below last year. And that was the previous tweet on X. Drix.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they're not seeing the growth they want. It's, not too unlike streaming television nowadays. We're back up to cable.
Yeah.
We're at Cable Plus now.
Yeah, Time Warner announcing that they have a new package that'll get you Hulu, Disney Plus, and HBO Max, or just Max, whatever it's called. That's just cable now. And
for dodging the Writers Guild reasons, it's now just called Max.
Yeah, it's just called Max now. And honestly, Drix, this makes a lot of sense as to the last story we just reported on. Not only the last story about huge layoffs at Microsoft, but stories that echo throughout CFM Radio history. The most recent one, this guy keeps coming up. The developers of Ori and the Blind Forest and the recently released No Rest for the Wicked, the Half Moon Studios or whatever, these guys straight up came out and were like, yo, don't play Ori on Game Pass, please buy it.
Yeah. No, we want to see the devs be rewarded for their hard work and putting all their creative energy into these works of art we call video games that we get to experience.
And Drix, it seems like those huge cash advances that Microsoft, that was the big incentive, right, for these games on Game Pass, was these giant big lump sums of cash from Microsoft.
Money, huh?
Yeah, but as per this article on PlayStation Lifestyle, the author points out, their own data, Microsoft's own data, cites that their internal documents say the company estimated a payment of $300 million for Star Wars Jedi Survivor Day 1, $250 million for Mortal Kombat 1, around $100 million for Assassin's Creed Mirage, and around $250 million for Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League.
Wow. I would have balanced those a little differently if I was them, but
yeah.
That's a big gamble to try to make back just having one game on a subscription platform for all of those.
It's kind of insane. Because
you
again,
to make that back at $10-15 a month.
Yeah.
For how many subscribers exactly? Nah, you're gonna run out of people before you get $250 million back.
Yeah, because again, these were all estimates that came out from the court case that came through. All of these, and those aren't the only ones. You got Lego Star Wars, Dying Light, Dragon Ball The Breakers. Estimated partner ask is $20 million for Dragon Ball The Breakers. Even though that was Dragon Ball The Breakers was low, right? Ubisoft Just Dance, Dragon Ball The Breakers, the expected partner ask was $20 million. Ubisoft Just Dance was $5 million. So these guys are even paying big money for games with admittedly low demand.
Yeesh. I don't know who's backing this over.
What is going on?
I beg you to reconsider the all bets on Game Pass bet.
It's actually crazy because, like I said, you know, the article on PlayStation, this is why I picked the article on PlayStation Lifestyle, Drix, because the article on PlayStation Lifestyle itself, that's biased as shit. It's called PlayStation Lifestyle. But if you actually look at it, the author has the receipts. The internal documents say, again, I'm not even going to look at these big games, Star Wars, Jedi. Take a look at what is this? What is this shit? Dying Light 2. Expected partner asked $50 million.
Huh.
Like,
yeah. Would these games even sell that much at like full price?
Lego Star Wars. Low to medium.
What's the growth on one of these?
Low to medium. Okay, so this is what I'm basing these on. Low to medium. These things likely to close. And here's wow factor, right? Wow factor for Lego Star Wars. The estimated partner asked $35 million. Medium. Cities Skylines 2. They don't have it. They don't have it here, but the note is exploring the idea of exclusively debuting Cities Skylines 2 closed beta with Game Pass. Talking to Paradox next week. Medium hype factor, wow factor. Dragon Ball The Breakers, again, expected partner ask was $20 million. They were prepared to pay $20 million, and the wow factor low.
Yeesh.
Like they're not even like out here with huge giant titles paying top dollar. Dragon Ball The Breakers, low. $20 million.
Yeah. Huh. It's like they're just chasing some type of clout or hype.
Yeah.
That's enough to get you to keep your Game Pass subscription on.
It's pretty crazy when you actually look at the numbers and you actually break things down. Again, from the court documents themselves. And another thing, I'm not even talking about the big names because obviously some of these big names have come out and they're not exclusively on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not exclusively on Game Pass, right? So like, but they were willing to pay that. And you know what, Drix? What the hell? I'll tell you what game is on Game Pass right fucking now. You can go play it, download it right now. Dragon Ball The Breakers. So you're telling me they paid $20 million for that shit?
Yeah, more or less. And I wonder how that game is populated.
Yeah.
Now.
You know, I'll say it like this, and the reason why I pick on Dragon Ball The Breakers, I don't mean to, but the reason why I do it is because I played it. And, you know, I gotta tell you, Drix, 3 to 8 minute wait times. I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah, on a multiplayer only game, like, nah, you're gonna need something a little snappier than that.
Little bit. But you know what? That's the end of the show. Microsoft, you know, they're you know, you could choose to take the PlayStation Lifestyle article for what it is, as a biased PlayStation article, and that's fine. I would not blame you. But I urge you to look at the article, look at the numbers, look at the court exhibits, and just look at how much Microsoft was willing to pay for low wow factor games. And then juxtapose it with the huge layoffs that just happened at Bethesda.
Just sounds like hemorrhaging money to me.
Insane.
Check out. We got the primary sources to prove it.
Hey, you know what? That court document stuff. Like I said, Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. Not on Game Pass right now. I don't think Jedi Survivor is on Game Pass right now. But you know what is? Dragon Ball The Breakers. And if they're paying $20 million for Dragon Ball The Breakers that they admit is low when they're not springing to make their Xbox consoles be able to run Baldur's Gate 3 Game of the Year, I mean, I don't know, fellas.
I don't know who's wearing the ties and making the choices over there.
We'll definitely say, hey, you know what, old Philly Spence, I wish you luck.
Mm-hmm. The Game Reaper.
The Game Reaper.
Now.
Phil Spencer, the Game Reaper. He cuts you down with a smile.
Mm-hmm. Or numbers, please. Yes, we need more games like Hi-Fi Rush to come out so we can gut your studio, fire most of you, and have some of you come work over on Elder Scrolls or Call of Duty.
Yeah, go do that. You know, it's fucked up. I bet you that's fucked up too, because they say that people are going to work on ESO, and I bet you some of these motherfuckers are going to the ActiBliz division and working on fucking World of Warcraft and fucking Call of Duty. World of Warcraft armor skins and Call of Duty skins. Oh my god. Like, sad days, Drix.
I mean, great job on that hit game. Your reward is a pink slip for your job.
I love The Evil Within. Here's a pink slip.
That was great.
It was a great game.
Good luck on your job hunt.
Never make another one. All right. That's it for us here at CFM Radio. We love to have a good time, but it's time to game. I think so, at least. Drix, we will see you streaming Earthbound next time when?
Not doing it bi-weekly.
All right, so not next week, but the week after.
Monday, but the 20th. Yeah.
Sick.
I mean, I do like to surprise people, though. I got an itch. I'm motivated to actually get to the end of Earthbound. So don't quote me, but I'm saying May 20th.
Hey,
we'll be back at some Earthbound on the SNES.
Everyone, just make sure that you're always tuned into the social medias. The social media posts always go up. We'll always be posting whenever we're streaming well in advance on our Facebook, on our TikTok, our Instagram, wherever we can. You know, if it's not on one, it's on the other. Like,
yep.
We're going to be cutting up reels, getting it in there. But you know what? That'll be it from us here. Remember to hit us with a like, subscribe if you can. Go follow us over on Twitch, twitch.tv/CFM on Twitch. I am Vector. And as always,
good night. Game on.
Game on. Thank you very much, Drix, by the way, for all of the groovy tunes.
Yeah, we'll have more coming at you next week.
We love it. Have a good night, everyone.